Right, we are recording. So, I suggest we do just one scene for this one. Use our last 45 minutes, and then we will return next week. How about that?
Okay.
Yep, fine by me.
Okay. So, do you want to do a quick recap on what happened last week?
It doesn't take 45 minutes.
Yes.
So what happened last week then? I
I remember the ending.
remember the ending. We were trying to. Was it last week that Aram Yaffa got killed?
It was.
Yes.
So Aram Yaffa, we'd basically tracked down this guy who had been pointing out the mystics to the fake guards who were looking for them. We eventually managed to track him down, but as we were taking him away, he was assassinated, shot in the head from a sniper.
From a long range, yeah.
From long range, we failed to track down the sniper. And then we were thinking about what to do next when some bigger shit went down. News had been revealed that the emissary who was on the council had disappeared. This had been causing considerable consternation amongst the population. Crowds had been gathering, looking for someone to blame for this. We had a plan of trying to use the crowd gathering outside the sanitarium to try and get into the sanitarium. Instead, Oshain just used it as an excuse to get into a fight with her first come. And so finally we got away from that.
I beg to differ.
Do you, go on then? What?
It was this was a great plan in order to incite a riot and an invasion of the sanatorium, which would then involve us going in, finding Noah, and resolving the mystery.
That was the plan. It was a good plan.
The fact that it led to some first come bastard just punching me in the nose over and over again, wasn't part of the plan. Anyway, carry on with your otherwise
I'm not
excellent
sure
summary.
that it was a very well worked out plan, to be honest. Like, let me, with my massive manipulate score of 3, try and incite a riot.
Four.
I think there was
3.
There was a bit of a riot, wasn't there? Although the guards weren't buying it, and they were maintaining their post and not letting anyone into the sanitarium. So it didn't work in that respect.
But as a potential, take the opportunity that was presented to us, I thought it was a very good try. And it meant I got to punch a first come guy and get an experience point for following my personal problem. So
And I think you did kind of get more focused on punching the first come guy than actually any other potential outcome of the plan.
Well, when it became clear that the plan wasn't really likely to work, and this guy had already punched me twice, then I wanted to punch the guy. Yeah.
And I seem to remember making a considerable number of ineffectual attempts to drag you away from the fight, either physically or by persuading you.
Until I realised, of course, that I was going to lose the punch up, and therefore I better leave. Which is why I then decided to spend my experience on some training in defensive hand-to-hand methods and get a nice big baton to help me do it. So I'm actually quite good in hand-to-hand if I'm defending myself with my big baton. Stop it.
Too late. Then, so I think we went back to the Crossroads College to rethink our strategy, where we found that we had an invitation to meet a Judge Nigelia Kurahan-dol-fahsra.
Let me share that, shall I?
Yes, the invitation suggested we had some interests in common, and invited us to meet that evening in Alkmaar's, which is a
very
such a posh restaurant that we need my merchant's talent to borrow some clothes, so we wouldn't stand out like something that stands out a lot,
like a pair of Crossroads College inhabiting scuzzy private investigators. Yeah. It's like it's like a bag lady going to a 3-star Michelin restaurant here, isn't it?
Yes, it's exactly like that.
And you're the bag lady.
So yeah, so it wasn't when you got back, but the next morning that you had this nice letter, which I put on our screen. Do you want me to zoom it in?
I can read it. It's fine.
I can read it well enough. Yes.
Yeah, we might be old, Matt, but our eyes aren't that bad.
Yeah, we have like artificial aids that let us actually still see stuff. Hey, what does that say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and you had agreed, Yaquob, to use your contacts to borrow some very smart clothes.
Yes, exactly that.
Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Well done, you.
So that evening, you head towards the spire, and this is an illustration of the glamour of the spire and Alkamar's restaurant.
I think the glamour of the guy on the left is that's you, Tone.
This guy here, you mean?
No, I turned the video off.
That's the right, Matthew, on the left. Keep going. The big guy on the left, far left.
That
this guy.
Pained look on his face.
But that looked like he's been given some form of pleasurable activity outside the screen of the picture.
Well, there's all sorts of things. So Alkamar is the very best restaurant in the horizon. It's
the whole horizon.
That's how it sells itself. Yes, foodies from every system travel here just for the tasting menu. Taking into account that it usually takes several segments to get a reservation here, unless you're a regular. One can book a table and then begin traveling to Coriolis from practically anywhere in the horizon. What, of course, they've failed to remember in this description is that actually the message doesn't go much faster than you do.
No. It's a bit like the restaurant at the end of the universe, where once you've had your meal, you go back in time and put 1 penny in a compound.
But you can see up here that it is literally right at the top of the spire, and it's got this amazing sort of plexiglass dome above it, so you can see Kua there. And it's obviously nighttime on Kua at the moment, and spaceships and all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
The restaurant itself is guarded by Alkamar's mythical stone figures, relics of old, only vaguely humanoid warriors in jade and red marble and black basalt. And when you walk inside, you're welcomed by the smell of spices, orchids, and other flowers mixed with the perfume of the guests and sweet, soothing incense. A real courtesan will take you by the arm and escort you to your table, and then retreat to a nearby divan to rest, only a wave away during your visit. But you don't get escorted to your personal table. You get escorted to the table where Nigelia Kurahan-dol-fahsra is waiting.
Can I just say, on that picture, not the waiter just in the center, that one, yeah, that's Matthias.
I think you might be right.
Matthias Johnson at Harker has been drawn into this by Martin Grip. Excellent.
in a very important position as well.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we're going to the table.
Yes.
I'm assuming we've had to leave all our weapons at the door.
Yes, indeed. So there are many security systems. One's first visit to Alkamar's is an unforgettable experience. Before entering the circular main room, spanning 120 meters in diameter, one has to wait in a foyer surrounded by these stone figures I mentioned earlier on. The foyer is full of sensors and discreet guards who make sure that no weapons or other forbidden gear is brought into the main hall.
So I'm assuming that includes my self-defense baton as well.
That will probably include your self-defense baton as well.
Okay.
But you are meeting a judge in the most expensive
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of fair enough. Yeah. So I'll hand over my pistol and my baton then into whatever, cloakroom they have for weapons.
They have a very elegant cloakroom, but actually, it's not quite the done thing to bring weapons to the restaurant.
They got one of just
However,
rotary lockers that you can
polite.
leave your weapon in as you enter.
Sorry,
They've not got those kind of
they
rotary
haven't
lockers.
got those lockers for your weapons. No.
That's a pity.
Precisely, they haven't got those because normally the residents here are people who don't have personal weapons. They normally have personal armies, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So where do they put them? Do they get in a locker as well?
No, they don't come to the restaurant. So you've got, this great glass dome you've got over here is stunning for guys like you that have lived on ships, and you may have windows in your ships, but this is enormous. So that's kind of what catches your attention. But the courtesan that guides you through the tables brings you to the judge, to where the judge is sitting, and I believe I have a photograph of her.
Yeah, is she sitting on her own?
No, she is not sitting on her own. She is with some people who I just can't find here. So a low, soothing barrier hangs gently in the air above Alkemar's luxurious decor and refined conversations. Waiters in fine white uniforms, courtesans in richly embroidered dresses, and tasteful, discreet laughter from the guests form a sophisticated potpourri around you as you are escorted to a corner table facing the glittering darkness of the void outside. The emerald green sphere of Kua shines at you from the other side of the glass dome in the ceiling, but despite the splendor around you, your attention is immediately drawn to your dinner companion at the table, this large, imposing woman on a divan, a silent, stern-looking warrior in full combat dress behind her. I think I might have a photo of them as well. That's standing behind her. Not
carrying that weapon.
Going around. You would recognize that as residents of Kua as adjudicator.
Presumably not armed in the way that he is in that photo, or they are in that photo.
No, I imagine not armed in that sort of way, but interestingly in full combat dress, which one might imagine, given everything else you've seen around here, is not really the expected wear of people in this restaurant.
No, if I'd known that, I'd have worn my combat dress.
One of the adjudicators, and a beautiful, well-dressed hijra, possibly a courtesan, and on a cushion on the floor. And a hijra is an asexual courtesan.
Okay. And we've been escorted to this table then?
You've been escorted to the table where the judge is waiting for you, yes.
Okay. Of the two of us, Tone, who's the most respectable? What's your reputation?
2.
Yeah, same here.
So I think neither of us is particularly.
No. Is your manipulation better than mine?
I have 6 dice in manipulation.
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep my gob shut then. So I think you're the public facing side of Ispartha Nassar investigations.
You are the face man. So you're offered hot towels and rose water to wash your hands.
Hang on then, I'm going to wash my hands. Happy birthday to me.
You're also offered a massage by the courtesan while you're sitting down. and the stress of the previous few days seems to be gently washed away by the delicate fingers of the courtesan behind you doing the massage. So Judge Kurahan doesn't seem to take your plans into action. She greets you both by name and says, "Aha, this is Oshain Ispartha, the famed detective."
It's a great pleasure to meet you. Do I know what the correct honorific to address her with is?
The honorific would probably be Dol-fahsra, which I think means judge.
Okay.
Who does it? So her name is Nigelia Kurahan, and the Dol-fahsra is a title rather than part of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's an honor to meet you, Dol-fahsra, and to be invited to such a wonderful location to speak with you.
She acknowledges that you're making a special effort to be polite, but doesn't obviously think it's
Actually, yes, that's quite good for him. I won't point out. That's a good.
Do you ever smile, Dol-fahsra?
And you must be Yaquob Nassar. I have heard something about you as well.
Well, I'm honoured indeed. Thank you. I echo my colleagues.
So I've heard
sentiments.
You're a twat.
Oh, I'm indeed honoured that you've heard that. At least you have heard of me. Well, we're honoured to be in your presence in such a august location. I'm very curious as to
how we can assist you.
Exactly, indeed, how we can help.
We are a double act, by the way, Dol-fahsra. So he starts a sentence and I finish it for him.
Well, you've been making quite some waves in the last few days here on Coriolis, it must be said. A little bird tells me you tried to start a riot yesterday.
We've simply been trying to unravel the mystery of the disappearance of one of Yaquob's closest family friends, the daughter of an old friend of his who died many years ago. We are simply trying to investigate what's happened to her and find her before something bad happens.
Are we not all of us trying to unravel mysteries of disappearances? You heard, I'm sure, the news that came out yesterday about the disappearance of the Emissary.
Of course, would have been impossible not to have.
Shocking, terrible.
I've heard that, yes.
It strikes me that these two mysteries, these two disappearances may be intertwined. Have you thought of that?
No. I think, honestly,
we haven't. Say, not really. But now you mention it, there could be a connection.
I'm surprised at your innocence in this matter, but
we fear that she may have been mistaken for one of these new mystics that have appeared since the emissary's arrival. So, in that sense, perhaps we can see there is a possible connection between the two. But what possible connection the disappearance of something as august and mighty as the emissary might have with the disappearance of a young girl who's a student in the depths of Coriolis?
A young student or a mystic, did you say?
Well,
did you say she was mistaken for a mystic?
Well, our investigations suggest that some people may believe she is a mystic, but I mean, Yaquob, you know her better than I. We have no evidence to suggest that she's anything other than the Noah that we've known and loved all these years.
Oh, I've certainly never seen any suggestion of any strange powers in the last year.
So until we see any evidence to the contrary, we have to assume she is mistakenly identified as one of these people.
But you have been consorting with an actual mystic, she says. Somebody who has admitted to you that she has acquired certain powers. What was her name? And she doesn't quite look at her notes in the way that I'm looking at. Althea. Althea, the singer, the club singer Althea. She
Althea did get in touch with us. She had developed a friendship with Nur. She was equally concerned about Nur's safety and her whereabouts. So we also had never met her before, but yeah, we have indeed spoken to
and
Althea.
she is now safe with your syndicate colleagues in one of the Crossroad colleges.
As a friend of Noor's, we felt it wise to reassure her. She was concerned that she might be at some risk, so we used our friends and contacts to protect her for now, regardless of the veracity of the claims against her.
This other mystic, the telepath who died in such unfortunate circumstances in the morning, was it the early hours of the morning yesterday? When the Crossroads College that you were staying at was raided?
May I, Dol-fahsra, may I do you the honour of being frank and throwing ourselves upon your clearly greater knowledge of our movements and activities. We deny nothing. We admit nothing either. We've been trying to find Noor, and she has, we understood, been friends with Althea and the very poor boy who died yesterday. If there is a connection here, and you can help us find Noor, then we would naturally be forever in your debt. And if there was some service that we could fulfill for you in the same vein, then naturally we would be honoured and delighted to fulfill that.
It may well be that there is a connection. In fact, I am convinced there may be a connection, but I am unable to find much evidence. What I do find are these business cards. And she throws you one. It's one of your own business cards, Oshain, that you gave to somebody. I have. You've been. Have you recently collected them from the printers? Because I have 3 or 4 here that I have acquired in my investigations.
A small business like ourselves, we need to make many efforts to market our services.
I'm sure.
As widely as we can.
Dol-fahsra, your investigations and your knowledge of us has reached the point that understands that I have no money. And therefore I need to earn some money in order to put food on my plate. And therefore I have been flashing my card at every opportunity in the hope of gaining some honest work.
So I think I may be able to help you in a number of respects. If I can give you some honest employment, you may be helping the adjudicators investigate the disappearance of the emissary, and we may indeed get to the bottom of the mystery concerning your friend's daughter, Noor. She turns to Yaquob. Having put your cards on the table, let me put mine out there. Let me be equally honest with you. The last segments have been plagued by kidnappings, the mysticides, as they have been called by the bulletin, and murders and rioting, such as we saw around the announcement of the disappearance of the emissary.
Yeah, that rioting was terrible. I don't know how that happened.
Well, we didn't have a hand in it because I got no one to riot. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to, but it really failed. Anyway,
as a cover for our investigation of the sanatorium, where we suspect.
You suspect the sanatorium?
We suspect that people who are actively working against these mystics, and that Nora has got swept up in, whether she's a mystic or not is something we don't know. We suspect that they are working out of the sanatorium.
I fear that our time is short. I fear that the disappearance of this emissary, the so-called messenger, is timed for maximum impact on the politics of the station. As you'll know, we're coming up to the new year and the anniversary of the arrival of the emissary here on Coriolis.
Player to GM, Matt. Wasn't that emissary calling himself the judge rather than the
No,
messenger?
the judge is still stationed on Zine.
Okay. So this was the one who was calling himself the messenger.
This is the one who's calling himself the messenger.
Right,
yes.
okay, cool.
Or has been called the messenger. I think only the judge has called himself the judge. Other people have assigned
the messenger.
Icon names to different people after the judge said he was the judge.
Right, okay.
So the first day of the new year is, as I was saying, the anniversary of when the so-called messenger emissary arrived at Coriolis, which makes the timing of its disappearance unlikely to be coincidental. I would ask you to investigate these. There is, of course, an official investigation. The adjudicators have taken over. But I would like you to use your more discreet channels, and I am willing to pay you for your time.
Well, my diary's clear, so.
Yeah, let me just check. I think we can probably fit this in.
Yeah,
our hectic schedule.
Week on Friday. Yeah.
I would rather hope you could start work relatively quickly.
That was a joke between me and Tony as players, not characters, Matt.
On the next watch after this, after the watch of sleep. So, I have no idea. I can't see any relatively recent invoices from your business, so I don't know your normal charges. Dave, can you roll 4d6, please?
Is this my manipulation? Is it?
No, your manipulation is 3d6.
Oh, that's true. I get a bonus dice then. Am I going for successes here?
No, you're going for the total number of.
Okay. That's 10. That's 18.
18. I would like to think that 18,000 birr would cover your fees and your expenses for this investigation.
A week.
I'm willing to pay 9,000 birr in advance and the other 9,000 upon satisfactory conclusion to the investigation.
Did you want to negotiate, Tone? Because I can't with my manipulation.
I think we should definitely try. I think it's definitely.
Yeah, give it. Can Tone give it? Try and negotiate it up, and can I give him a dice of help?
You can. I warn you, she's quite good at this.
As long as we say it in the right way, we're businessmen, so she shouldn't then turn around and say, "Well, I'm going to offer you 5,000 now."
Yeah, just bear in mind that I'm using all my dice. Do you want to go ahead then, Tony, and tell me what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Roll your dice?
Obviously, normally we charge by the hour or the day, so not really knowing. This is a complex investigation. So normally we wouldn't take a fixed fee up front for a job, not knowing how long it was going to last. So given that.
We do want some up front though, Tone, because we've got no money.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting we don't get any money up front. I'm saying normally.
Is that what you're offering by way of a dice of help there, Dave?
Yes, I'm not saying that, Ocean.
I'm just nudging him. Yeah, okay. Let's give it a go,
So given that obviously we don't know, committing to a price without knowing how long the investigation will last, possibly, we feel that we're taking the risk there on that price, and possibly that should be reflected in the price. So, what shall I ask for? 25?
Just try and up it, whatever. Yeah.
Well, I might as well take it. So,
yeah.
So normally for an open-ended investigation like this, we would do it for 25,000. Obviously, half of that up front.
Roll your dice, please.
Come on, Tone.
Okay, I've got one success. Shall I push it?
Push it.
2 successes and a darkness point
Yeah.
for yourself.
I'll take the darkness point. Thank you very much. And she smiles and says, you have the makings of a fine negotiator. However, I think 18,000 is reward enough, don't you? I can, though, offer you some extra help. It appears that as law-abiding citizens of Coriolis, you go about the station unarmed, because I have noticed from your records that neither of you are licensed.
No.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we haven't left any guns in the lockers to the restaurant at all. No.
Given the risks involved, which are small, I'm sure, but given the risks involved, I'm prepared to ease the wheels, and I believe I have influence over the licensing committee, and can have your licenses delivered to you reasonably early on, perhaps by first watch tomorrow.
I think that's agreeable.
That would indeed be a great help. Thank you very much.
And she indicates the.
And would this be a license for any weapon? So would we be licensed for my Vulcan carbine with this?
She seems to be implying that all you need to do is list your weapons, and
right. Okay.
They will be licensed.
Yeah. Okay.
For the duration of the investigation, at least.
Of course.
I also, she indicates what you now realise is a woman in armour behind her. Adjudicator Akuba here will be your liaison.
Akuba.
Yes, and she has arranged access for you to the scene of the crime, the emissary's residence on Lake Abra.
Where is Lake Abra?
Where is Lake Abra?
On Kua somewhere, is it?
No, I think you'll find it's on Coriolis.
Okay.
This is the spire we're talking about here.
Okay.
They have
it's
lakes.
Very different from the rest of the station.
I'd heard there's lakes up here, but I didn't believe it for a minute.
I don't have a map of the spire, but I haven't got one online, but I can find you one shortly and show you on the camera, I believe.
Oshain seems to just wandered off. I think you might have begun to get some beer or something.
Or maybe I can't. Where have I seen a map? Is it on the big paper map? Oh God, is it in here? Anyway, yes, it's Lake Abra is on the Abra floor of the spire. Let me just have a quick look. See, sure, there's a map. But no. The 96th floor of the spire, or 96th floor, shall we say. And it's luxury accommodation. Anything else that she can offer you? She gives you the chip with...
Dave just wandered off. Do you want to wait till he comes back?
Okay.
I'm back.
I would like you to report your findings to Akuba here, and she will pass them on to me. I will also, however, give you a direct link to my private communicator, but it is only to be used in emergencies.
Okay, understood. Do we have a link to Akuba then, like a communications link?
Yes, Akuba will exchange her links with you. Her visor is up. It's not like it is there, or it's not. She doesn't show much of her face over a visor, but you can see that she's got the traditional Zenithian face makeup that particularly the Zenithian hegemony likes to wear. Her visor only opens her and only kind of opens when she's relaxed. She opens and you can see her eyes, but she never shows her face much.
Are there obvious distinguishing marks around her eyes and that we could recognize if we saw her without a helmet on?
She's a judicator. You don't imagine you'll ever see her without a helmet on?
No, but just in case.
She's like a Mandalorian in this regard. I mean, you can make a observation roll, I guess, to try and memorize her eyes. When you do, though, she stares you down, or will do so.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do that.
I help him with the dice.
No, he's remembering. You can't say, "Hey, make a note of her eyes," can you?
No,
okay, Yaquob,
See those little blue flecks
draw
in her
those.
iris.
Yeah,
I'll just make a little sketch here. What they look like.
I got one success.
Right. You. I'll give you a bonus dice if you need to recognize at some point if that ever becomes a situation.
Okay.
But you are thoroughly browbeaten by her hard stare. She just stares at you with 3 successes of intimidation. So you're going to be the one looking away.
I didn't even get a roll to resist that intimidation. Surely I get a roll for that.
Okay, you want to try manipulation? Because that's what it is.
Give it a go. 3 dice. I might get 3 sixes. I got 3 ones on my alien dice.
Right, okay. So roll a d6 for me. See what happens.
I was going to say, roll a d6. Okay. 6.
6. You tremble.
Hey, I've got no stress yet. Hey, come on.
But,
I was going to be like really cool and say, nice to make your acquaintance, but I guess I can't.
No, she will escort you when you are ready to the 96th floor and Lake Arborough.
Do we even get to eat anything here? I have a drink.
You got some sweetmeats and stuff while you were talking, and
Right,
drinks
okay.
and stuff like that, but you don't get the tasting menu. No, this was a business meeting, and already now the judge has turned her attention to the
Something
courtesan
else.
that.
Okay.
So do we get our 9,000 up front then? Yeah.
Yeah, she's given you a credit chip.
Well, is that 4.5 each then?
4.5 each. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. At least we better pay for the ship
That's good.
this month. I got no 4.5. Okay. I got some money. Cool.
Let's retire.
Yeah, exactly. Go, let's run.
So I suggest we end this scene and this session there and pick up with your visit to the emissary's residence.
Yep.
When we've got the technology working properly.
When we've got the technology working. Okay?
Yeah, cool.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
And I'll try and work out why we're not...
What's going on with it?
Okay, stop that recording. Yes, I want to stop.